Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Getting It Right, the Antiques game show where it seems to be much easier to get it wrong, but we don't mind because we can all play along, including you at home. So keep your scores, be a David Elstob, be the expert, score yourself, see how well you do and see if you beat today's contestants. And as well as that, keep watching because towards the end, oh yes, oh I know, you will win if you answer the question correctly at home. An easy question I'll ask based on one of the objects we're going to look at today. You could win a signed Getting It Right mug. Show a bit more enthusiasm.
They're very special.
He hasn't even got one yet. He hasn't been good enough to win one. You can win one, so keep watching and put your answers down below. So let's play along. It's very easy to do it. Let's meet today's contestants. And today we have two sisters. We have
Angela
and
Rosemary.
Now this is going to be interesting, isn't it? Wow. Okay, so Angela, tell us all about you.
I'm local to the area and currently living in Knaresborough in a 400-year-old cottage.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it's quite small, so I can't get many more antiques in, but I'm still doing it.
Oh, so you've got a house full of antiques?
Yes, a lifetime collection.
Right, so are you a dealer or a collector?
No, just a private collector.
Okay, and star sign?
Sagittarius, so my birthday's next month.
Okay, well happy birthday for that.
Yeah. I'll be 74.
Well, good. Well, obviously antiques keeps you looking young, doesn't it? So you've been a collector all your life?
Yes.
And what about work? Are you still working?
Not at 74, no.
Well, you should be. I'll need to be at 74, I assure you. You will be as well in this business. Okay, so and how confident are you that you'd be really good at spotting really good antiques?
As confident as anybody.
Better than your sister?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay, Rosemary, tell us about you.
Well, I live in Ripon, here in Ripon, and I live in a Victorian terrace house, which, like Angela's house, is also full of antiques. I wouldn't really describe myself as a collector. I've always bought furniture and paintings and silver and porcelain to furnish my house, just that.
So you just do it because you love them?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want to buy anything else. If I need something in the house, I'll buy something old.
Right, well you must come here to Elstob and Elstob, do you?
I do from time to time.
All right. Do you know these two?
I do.
Okay, all right. And what do you do for a living?
Well, I'm retired now. I'm 75, but I used to be an army officer. And after that, I was an advertising copywriter.
Right, being an army officer, you must have travelled the world.
Well, hardly. It was join the army in Sea Surrey.
Good life, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were spoiled, yes.
Okay,
in
brilliant.
those days, yes.
Star sign?
I'm a Gemini.
Okay, and how do those, you two have lived together all your lives, how do the star signs mix?
No, not at all.
No.
As children, my father was in the colonial service, and Angela accompanied my mother and father, and I stayed at home in Yorkshire with my very successful grandparents who also loved antiques, and they did travel the world.
Okay, so you
So
went
we-
away with the
Yes.
colonial service and your sister was left at home. Was she
That's
that naughty?
No, I don't
I
think
think
so.
my mother didn't want to leave a young baby with Grandma.
I
I think
see.
that's what it was.
She was the youngest of the two.
So when I saw that stool over there, the first thing I said was, that looks a bit like Nigeria.
Ah, the Benin tribes. So you spent some time in Nigeria. Right, how interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
right, this is going to be very good. I think you two are going to be very knowledgeable. And let's see if they're better than David Elstob. That would be good, wouldn't it? And of course you all know David Elstob. We're here at Elstob and Elstob in Ripon. We call it Elstob Studios. We're doing loads of filming here. It's great fun. So we're going to feature things that David has either sold or is about to sell. So, shall we get going?
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's play round one. And can we have, please, our assistant? Here she comes. And I like do you like Glamorous Assistant?
Of course.
I like Glamorous Assistant. Here she is. To Rosemary, please. Oh.
Wow. Oh, God. Yes. Well,
Yeah, if we had more in the budget. So, Rosemary, here are the rules. This is an object that you're going to tell us all about. Your lovely sister cannot get involved. It's all about you. Handle it love it, and speak as you think. What is it?
Well, this very exquisite object is, apart from a metal element, is porcelain. I'm pretty sure it's continental. It could be early 19th century or even mid. It has, I have never seen anything quite like this before, but it's the sort of thing that the town of Dresden used to pump out in those days. That's, and the colours are absolutely divine. It is a candlestick, and it is or has been one of a pair.
Ah, well, that's very well spotted, because it is actually indeed one of a pair, but we didn't trust our glamorous assistant to carry two of them, did we, David?
One very nearly didn't get here, so...
Imagine if she's carrying two! That would make a memorable show, wouldn't it? Okay, so you're saying it's what, early 19th century?
I think so, yes.
Okay, and you're saying it's continental?
Yes.
And is a candelabra one of two, well spotted. What about its condition?
Well, I haven't got my spectacles on, but it seems to me that its condition is very good. I can't see any chips. Typically with these things, the flowers are knocked off, all sorts of things like that. I'm not quite sure what the purpose of this metal element is, and that may have had something attached to it, like leaves or something, but its purpose isn't clear, so maybe that's been damaged.
Okay, fine. David, have you made some notes?
I have.
Okay, so we're going to talk about value in a moment.
Yeah.
Angela, it's all about you, so can we pass the doggy over?
Yeah.
Actually, we haven't met the dog. What's the dog called?
Silver. Because
Silver.
she's a silver dapple, the colour.
Oh, I see. All makes
Another
perfect sense.
terrible smell.
Oh, terrible. It's continuous.
Oh dear, we won't mention that.
So,
Right, Angela,
Right.
tell us what you think.
I've got some of this sort of stuff at home, and I bought it because I thought it was beautiful, not because I thought it was valuable. I'm looking at the bottom, and it's not telling you anything at all. It's not telling you anything at all when you look at the bottom.
Why not?
I'm recognising damage here on a wing of one of the birds. It's not serious damage, it's just a
Can you show that to me?
that, there, and then there's a bit more where somebody's tried to mend it, and a bit more. Because I've got this stuff at home, I don't really know what it is, but I know it's not that old. I wouldn't say it was any older than about 80 years.
Okay, and where was it made?
Well, definitely abroad.
Definitely
I
abroad.
would say so, yeah.
Okay, 80 years old, abroad.
Yeah.
Does it have any markings on the base at all?
No.
Can you show that to me?
It looks genuine enough.
Can I just have a look at something?
Oh, it says 1762. So I'm wrong about 80 years old, aren't I?
Okay, stop there. Sometimes, here's a top tip for you. When you look at the base of an antique, it tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Okay, hold that thought. Angela, if you can put that down now.
I'm quite pleased. It means my pieces are worth more.
David, over to you. Award some points. What is it exactly?
These are all English porcelain.
Oh,
1762, as it says on
Bow.
the base. Bow, yeah. Very rare. Porcelain, which I awarded a point for. Candlestick groups, patterns called birds and branches. Very rare.
So 18th century George III.
so no wonder we haven't seen anything quite
Yes.
like it. Yes,
Okay,
Certainly
so
not Dresden.
not, no.
I see where you're coming from. You've got that Meissen
Yeah, I
kind
get
of
it.
feel
Yes,
to
yes.
it.
Yes.
I mean, the English and the
Yes.
other continental
Yes.
makers were
It's
copying
a
the
type of thing
Meissen.
that was copied in the late 19th
Yes.
century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's a genuine 18th century.
Mine must be
They
the
are,
copies.
yeah.
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 Okay, so award some points then, please, David.
Couple of points for Rosemary.
2 for Rosemary.
Yeah.
Okay, and Angela?
Just the one, please.
1.
Just the one, yeah.
So
just for condition, really, because you picked up a few nice things.
Yes, you did.
I did
On
see a few
condition.
chips because I'm used to looking at that detailed porcelain.
well, it is important, isn't it, to spot the damage.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rosemary on 2, and we have Angela on 1. Okay, right. Now then, this is the value round. This is a chance now for you to claw back a point. So take one of your cards each and your felt tip pens and write on the back the value, in
But
your
are
opinion,
we valuing this as a pair?
As a pair.
as a pair?
Oh, right, as a pair.
Have you just sold these, David?
I have.
Right, so the value is going to be absolutely
So
bang
they've
on.
got a spot on, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Market value.
Market value. How much has David Elstob just sold the pair for?
With or without commission?
Without.
Hammer price.
Okay.
Rosemary's really thinking about this one. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, hold your cards up in the air. And Rosemary first, how much?
Who am I saying it to?
Us. £1,500. Okay, Angela? £420. Quite a difference there.
Big difference.
Okay, how much have you just sold them for?
We sold them yesterday for £2,000.
Oh, fantastic.
£2,000. Nice
the nearest.
result.
Not far
Okay,
off,
so
yeah.
I think it goes without saying, Rosemary gets the point.
Brilliant.
Okay, round of applause. Yeah, round of applause. Great. Okay, well done. But don't worry, you've got it all to play for. Let's come back for round two.
And
So we've got Rosemary on 2, Angela on 1. Don't worry, Angela. Now it's all about you. Let's play round 2. If we can have that removed, please. Thank you very much. She might be a while. Watch your orchard. Don't look, everybody. Don't look.
It's a good thing alcohol's not involved in this programme, isn't it?
You say alcohol's not involved in the programme. Well, you've got that wrong.
yes.
Right. Here she comes. And this is to Angela, please.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Angela, it's all about you. Tell us what you're looking at. Speak as you think.
This looks like a very old automaton of some kind, and I know automatons fetch a huge price, particularly if they're old. But it depends if they're in working order or not, because they're difficult to repair, well, expensive to repair. It's lost its head, and it seems to be made of calico, the skirt, which is very cheap sort of fabric from way back. The arms are still there, and they're wooden jointed. It's rather a nasty looking thing, really.
What do you mean nasty? We put a lot of effort into choosing our objects on this show.
There's nothing at the bottom that gives a maker's name as far as I can. There is a little plaque, but I don't
Show it
think...
to me.
There is a little plaque, but there's nothing engraved on it. It's just part of getting into the mechanism, I think.
And when you say it's an automaton, what use would it have apart from...
I think it would be a doll that was meant to sort of look as if it was walking across the floor
I see.
when it was wound up by this big key.
And when would that be, would you say?
Could be as early as 1780, something like that.
Wow.
Gosh.
She sounds very good. I mean, I'm
Yes.
convinced. I don't know about you. Are you convinced? Because I am. Yeah, the audience are just mesmerised by this. I hope you're right, because otherwise this is going to go down like a lead balloon.
It's absolutely ghastly, but they usually go for a lot of money.
Ghastly, but goes for a lot of money. Deduct
Point
a
for
point.
that. No, it's a point for
Is there a point
thing,
for that?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, hold that thought and pass it now to your lovely sister, Swap Dog and Automaton.
It's quite heavy.
What do you think, Silver? Right, Rosemary, talk to us.
Well, by and large, I agree with Angela. This is an automaton. There's a key there. It's a clockwork object. Is it a toy or is it an ornament? I suppose it's a toy. It has lost its head. The articulated arm suggests to me that the clockwork actually moves those, or did. It's lost its outer clothing. There's just this underskirt left.
And date-wise, Rosemary?
Well, I was going to say Victorian, but looking at it again, I'm not at all sure. I think it is earlier. I think it's about 1760, something like that.
Okay, thank you very much. Put the doll, headless doll. I mean, where do you find these things, David Elstob? Seriously. I mean, that's horrifying. I hope there are no children watching this, because they won't sleep tonight.
What was a head and then the glamorous assistant put hair to that.
Listen, but she loves being here. It's a charity show, this, David. Okay, a Walton Points. Tell us what it is, first of all.
slightly difficult to date. I think it's early 19th century. French were great makers of automatons. And it is believed that it was a dressmaker's automaton. So he would make models of his dresses, put them on there. His client would come to look at them, and he'd set that away, walking around.
Really? So somebody would take a look at how they may look in the finished
And how
item.
the fabric would move.
Absolutely.
Isn't that amazing?
It
And
is,
look at that
yes.
lovely pinch waist
Yes,
and the crinoline
yes.
skirt.
That's why I think it's earlier. In the very early 19th century, the waistline would have been up here.
Yes,
Right.
Yeah.
yes, big bustles.
Yes. And
Very
yet
interesting.
it looks too old to be Victorian, so that brings us back to
Yeah.
earlier in the 18th century.
Okay, does it work?
It does.
Okay, well, we might just experiment with that in a moment if you're up for it. If you don't, well, there's no insurance on this show, so it's down. No, you're kidding, aren't you? No. Okay, so award some points on the descriptions, please. So let's go, Angela first.
Angela, 2 points
For what?
for identifying it as an automaton,
Yes.
and 1 for saying it's ghastly.
The dog agrees. Okay, and then Rosemary.
2 to Rosemary again for saying automaton, and the date as well. I think the date's a little bit up for discussion, so I'm going to give you 1 for the date because it could be late 18th century.
So you think Rosemary got closer on the date?
Yeah, I do. So
Okay.
two each.
Two each. Okay, so now we have Rosemary on 4, and Angela, you're coming back, you're on 3, but this now is a chance for you to equal the scores because it's the valuation round. Have you just sold this?
Just yesterday.
Sold it yesterday, so we
Yeah.
know exactly what it's worth. Write down your valuations, and let's see who wins the point. Go for it.
Lots of interest in this yesterday.
Did it go mad?
It went a bit berserk.
Did it?
Online bidders got very excited about it.
Well, while these two then write down the prices, can we have our glamorous assistant? Oh, thank you very much. Assistant, would you mind wheeling that table in? Just, without knocking the cameras over would be great. Thank you. About there. And David, can you demonstrate? Yes. Go on. Just while you think about the figures. So, automaton, wind up. This might go terribly wrong.
It hasn't happened. Oh dear. Is the purchase a local or from abroad?
Oh, it does work. Oh, look, you were right. The arms move.
Yes.
You said it the night.
It is a
I
bit
ought to have
creepy.
a point for that. I said the arms would move.
Yes, you
I mean, that is seriously creepy, actually.
It is.
And where is the head,
It
David?
would be very good in a film, wouldn't
You
it?
better ask Wendy.
That's probably why it was so popular.
What?
A film company would buy that.
A film company may well buy it, yes.
Yeah. Halloween coming up
Yeah.
as well.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, this is all going crazy. Glamorous assistant, could you please remove your headless doll? Thank you very much.
Because they bought it with the head.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Right, that went remarkably well. Right, okay, on to valuation. So let's go, Angela first. 1,300.
Okay, interesting.
Rosemary? 525. Let us know how close you got to this. David, how much have you just sold it for?
Rosemary's very good at this.
Right.
400 it's sold for.
£400. Round of applause there, I think. Well done, Rosemary.
That wasn't being good. That was just random.
That was pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, Rosemary is romping ahead now. Rosemary's on 5, and we've got Angela on 3. But very well done. 2 very interesting objects. Let's now play Tea and History. This is round 3. Welcome back to round 3, Tea and History. So come on then, you two. It's tea time. Grab yourselves a mug. Settle down. It's tea and history time. So I'm going to tell you about wigs. We've just had a doll without a head, so let's keep on the subject of wigs. So you probably know that during the 18th century, wigs were terribly popular. And you probably know this too, but the reason why, or one of the reasons why wigs were very popular, is because people often shaved their hair due to a number of complications. One, nits. It was easier to keep your hair clean by shaving it, and also the makeup they were using caused hair to drop out, the lead and the mercury makeup. So wigs were terribly fashionable. But did you know this is where we get the term big wig from? Did you know that?
Not really, no.
The big wig. We all know what a big wig
Yes,
is. It's the mayor, the local police chief.
Yes, of course it is.
So you say, oh, look at him, he's
It's a big wig.
He's a big wig.
Yes.
It goes back to the 18th century when wigs were fashionable because wigs were terribly expensive. They were made using horse hair, goat hair, human hair, and in some cases, the very expensive ones, yak hair. You'd have a yak hair one, wouldn't you? You would, yeah. So they're very expensive. So the bigger the wig you had, the wealthier you were. So somebody would see someone wearing a big wig and they go, wow, look at him, he's a big wig, he's got lots of money. And that's where we get the saying from. But wigs, although you may well have looked fantastic wearing a wig, they were pretty difficult to control because today we have hairspray and gel, you'll use that. In the 18th century, they didn't have that. Their equivalent of gel was animal fat. Oh yes. The Georgians were very environmentally friendly. They used natural products. And animal fat styled the wig beautifully. So, Rosemary, your hair, if it was a wig, it would be coiffured with animal fat. It works. The downside of animal fat is the aroma.
Yeah.
The smell, the build-up of animal fats. And if you don't clean the wigs very often, the smell was atrocious. And a double downside, David, and this normally happened to men, I don't know why then, but it did. It was very often the case that a man could go out wearing his wig with all his animal fat in, and he hasn't cleaned it for a very long time. He's probably a bachelor, goes to a party, no electricity, just candlelight. What happens when you walk past a lit candelabra with a fat-laden wig?
It goes up.
You lose your head, just like the doll.
Yeah.
Your head blows up in flames. That's the downside of looking drop dead gorgeous. The chances were you may well drop dead. Wigs. But women outdid all of the men because some women wore wigs which were 3 feet tall. 3 feet tall. Average height of a woman in the Georgian period, 5 foot tall. Average height of a man, 5'5". So you're on a hot date with a fashionable woman. You're 5'5". She's 8 feet tall, David. 8 feet tall, and some of these wigs were made and literally strapped onto their heads using like a scaffolding system. If you were going, doing the season in London as a debutante, you would live with your wig for weeks and possibly months on end, which meant you couldn't sleep in a bed because you're 8 feet tall, and you didn't want to disturb your wig because you had it stuffed with taxidermy, birds, mice, all sorts of structures, sculptures in the wig. So ladies, to look fabulous, would have to sleep sitting up in a chair. The price we pay for fashion. Right, so there's your little history lesson on wigs. Here comes your history question. A wig maker during the 18th century was called a knob thatcher.
Right.
A knob thatcher. A knob being a head,
Yes.
a thatcher thatching the wig for the head. A knob thatcher. It was a great job. Every town had several. Yeah, you probably would have been a knob thatcher in the 18th century.
Yeah.
Sometimes he gets called it. Anyway,
A cold word.
here's the question for you. There was another profession during that time. It was a good profession. You had to be self-employed, and that profession was being a mud lark. Now, if a knob thatcher was someone who thatched the head, then there's a clue in the name. A mud lark did something specific. My question to you is this: what did a mud lark do for a living? You have to write your answers down on the cards. You're looking a bit worried there,
Yeah, I
Angela.
am a bit
Go on. There's your question.
I need a
What was a mud lark? The clue is in the title, and actually mud larking today is actually a popular
it is.
pastime. Yeah. But in those days, it was a serious profession. It will all make sense in a moment. Oh no, looking at your sister, cheating sisters. Come on, Angela. Hide your work, Rosemary.
I am doing.
Yeah. Did you have this problem growing up?
No, because we were in different forms.
Oh, of course, and different countries.
Well, only
when we were-
only when we were very small.
Ah, right. Okay, are we ready? Sorry, you're writing an essay or something, Rosemary? What's going on?
I tend to.
Gosh.
It's another thing I am.
She's going for double points here. Right, hold your cards in the air. What was a mudlark, Rosemary?
A mudlark was a scavenger of the mud banks of rivers, particularly the Thames.
Wow. Okay. And Angela?
Some sort of pastime near a river.
Okay, some sort of pastime near a river, and a mudlark was someone who scavenged by the river. Well, the answer is 18th century mudlarks were absolutely scavengers by rivers. So when the tide went out, they would go onto the mud banks looking for dropped bits of treasure, coins, clothing, but very often, guess what they would find?
Teeth.
Almost. Dead bodies, especially in the River Thames. The Thames was full of dead bodies during the Georgian period. So that was a mud lark. So Rosemary, absolutely spot on, beyond comprehension. I'm going to give you 2 points for that. So well done to Rosemary. Give her a round of applause. And Angela, I'm going to give you 1 point because a mudlark today actually does exactly what you say. They muddle around in the mud looking for bits of antiquities and more of a fun pastime.
Yeah.
But very well done. How did you do at home? And right, catch up on the scores. So we have Rosemary on 7 and Angela on 4 points.
Very good.
Come back for round 4, the David Elstob I'm an Antiques Expert round.
Oh.
Welcome back to round 4. This is David Elstob's round. Can we have our glamorous assistant, please? So, in this round, ladies, we're going to show you an object. You can look at it. If you can pass it to the contestants, please. Thank you very much. Don't tell us anything about it yet. This is all about David. David's going to tell you everything you need to know, then ask you a question relating to it. You don't need to speak. You just have a look at it, share it amongst yourselves, and David's going to tell us all about it.
It's a nice stand made of hide. Lovely brass plaque on the bottom, the maker's details. And they're the details of Roland Ward, who's a very well-known taxidermist.
Yeah.
It's got his details of his London shop on the bottom. Date-wise, I think it probably dates to around 1900. Lovely brass beading on the ends just to decorate it a little bit. It's a nice thing, but this had a purpose. I would like to know what the purpose of it is.
Who answers?
Okay, what we're going to do is ask you to write down its purpose. Did we get a date on that, David?
Around 1900.
Around 1900, made from...
It's covered in a very thick hide.
We're running out of cards.
There'll be some spare
Oh, don't worry, there's a lot more.
You can use the same cards, don't worry
Right
about that.
on the mug.
All right.
What purpose? Take a look at that. What purpose would you say? Right, do we have our answers?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, right, Rosemary first. What is it? Support for stuffed fish. Okay, Angela?
Desk accoutrement to hold pens and pencils.
It's a gentleman's desk.
I can see where you're coming from.
Okay, what is it?
It's a stand for a tusk.
Oh, you weren't far off, were
Yes.
you?
A
Yes.
stand for a tusk. So this
Very
is
good.
an ivory carved
Yes.
tusk.
Yeah, would
Absolutely.
have sat on
I
there.
couldn't think of anything else to be.
very
Okay,
Yes.
and Roland Ward was a very famous
they were
taxidermist.
Fabulous taxidermist.
In fact, I do know that there we have Roland Ward, Piccadilly, London. On many Roland Ward pieces, it just says Roland Ward, The Jungle,
Yes.
Piccadilly, London.
really? Yeah.
They're the ones to look out for, aren't they? I mean, they're so fabulously eccentric.
Yeah.
But of course, today, you wouldn't buy it for a tusk because ivory tusks
Of course.
are now illegal.
Of course,
You can't trade in them, can you?
No.
Unless they're before a certain date.
No, it
No,
used to be that way.
Oh, right, it's changed. Nothing
Completely
at all
gone.
now.
If you have at home a Chinese carved ivory tusk that was worth £10,000 a year ago, it's now worth nothing.
I've got a
Because you
small
can't sell
one.
it.
damaged and African, not very nice actually, and that would be too big for it.
Yeah.
So I'm not really bothered about it.
No, good. Okay.
And you didn't pay for it either.
No, I didn't. I inherited it.
Okay, what's it worth, David, in today's market?
Couple £100.
Couple £100.
Really, that much?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
does amaze me.
It's all in the name. All
Yes, with that.
Right. Okay, so I'm now going to award some points. What do you think?
It's a difficult one, really.
It
To
is
give
a
any
difficult
points on that one, isn't it?
Are you going to give any points for anything at all?
No, I don't feel as
No, he's not going to give any points whatsoever. So is that it?
Yes.
Okay, so now then we're going to announce the winner of today's show, but don't go away, because after I've announced the winner, there's a very special question for you at home to win the signed mug, which we'll get Angela and Rosemary to sign as well, and David, and it'll be the only one in the world. So keep watching. So I can announce that today's winner with 7 points is Rosemary. Give Rosemary a round of applause. Oh, Silver, you are amazing. Very well done. That was really good. Now here's your question at home. So get this right and you may well be getting a signed Getting It Right. No, she's getting so excited over this. Don't worry, Angela, you're going home with one anyway, whether you want one or not. You're having one, but you can get a signed one. Okay, so here's your question. Think back to the very first object we looked at today, the pair of English candelabras made in the 18th century. We thought they were continental, but indeed they were English. David's just sold them, 2,000 quid?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful things, very rare. We mentioned the maker. Can you remember which factory made the candelabras? Put your answers down below. We'll pick a winner at random, and you, wherever you live in the world, will be getting a signed Getting It Right mug. So thanks everybody for watching episode 4 of Getting It Right. Come back for episode 5. A round of applause. Goodbye.